I was born with the hairline of my enemies, and it's been a long road to recovery since then. Hi everyone! Firstly, I actually wanted to say thank you for 300 subscribers. Thank you! I appreciate that support, and I also am honored to be trusted with your time in a way, So, for this video, we're gonna spend some time talking about hair. Firstly, I wanted to discuss the game plan for this particular get ready with me. Ooh, I'm rapping. But here's the game plan. I've been going on Pinterest and looking at new styles, and the main thing that I wanted to achieve was this front forehead swoop. That swoop. That's the main thing that I wanted, and I wanted some shapes in the back. I wasn't necessarily picky on that. So this was the main plan. The bansi, a little soup, and a big and a small braids. Ne? I grew up in the early 2000s in South Africa, and this was one of my first hair memories. I don't know why they call this relaxing, because there's nothing relaxing about this experience. Even looking at that picture, looking at the expression on their face, and looking at which part of the relaxing process they're at, like, yeah, she's like, I know that it burns. Thinking about how relaxing was such a norm in my life, I realized that prior to going natural much later in life, I actually had never known a time when I was completely natural. My first hair memories were about manipulation, and they were also about pain. It was very uncomfortable. It was very painful. And I will say that I have developed like a salon, what is it called? Salon trauma, I guess, because there were many instances, if not all of them, where you look up at your hairdresser while your scalp is burning, and it feels like there are 1,000 fires being started, and that those fires are starting their own fires on your scalp, and you're looking at your hairdresser as a 7-year-old, and you're like, girl, it burns, only to be ignored, dismissed, or made to feel bad for speaking up, actually. So yeah, I do have salon trauma, and it actually, for better for worse, led me to learning how to do my own hair. So yay. Yay, I guess. Fun fact about how I actually started learning how to do hair was that at home we had an iron, and the iron was falling apart. Like, the threads of the cord were unraveling, and I used this as my base for how to learn. So I'd take a piece of hairpiece and I'd wrap it around the unraveling thread, and that's how I learned how to braid, actually, for the first time. That's how that was my hobby as a child. That was one of my hobbies, just going to the extra room and braiding the iron at home. Yeah. I feel like I don't want to be all negative, because I generally have a very strong relationship with beauty. I've always felt drawn to beauty and to, I guess, pursuing beauty as best as I can. I've always really looked up to beautiful people and looked for beautiful things. I feel like I had such conviction about what I found beautiful and what was beautiful, though obviously as a child, your convictions can be based around things that are dangerous or not with your best interest in mind. So a lot of the convictions were just white supremacy. But anyways, I still was convicted, and I was very confident in what I found beautiful, which I find healing to think about now as I'm growing up, and I've gone through experiences and environments that have made me doubt beauty and doubt my beauty, which have actually shaped how I see beauty and how I pursue it. And yeah, I'm still on an ongoing journey, if you will, about finding beauty and maintaining beauty in my life, and just finding ways to feel beautiful that aren't harmful, that are uplifting, that are healthy. So, as 2000 and Mang Mang, I'm rocking my relaxed hair, the Barbie baddie that I am. But the holidays come around. There was not much to do during school hours to express yourself. Hairistically speaking, there was not much you could do to express yourselves. But when the holidays came around, you might have a fighting chance. You might convince your mom that you want pink. No, not pink. It wasn't that time. But maybe we can add like a few centimeters more on the hairpiece that you used to when you're at school. I don't remember actually ever being allowed to have anything but my natural hair at school. I don't think hairpiece was allowed. I don't recall. But I do remember during the holidays, this was my time to shine. Like, I loved the holidays during the early 2000s. There was nothing that can touch that era for me. I feel like it was peak culture, peak hairstyles, peak fashion. Like, everything was interesting to me. But this might be my uncle or auntie. Y'all don't call people auntie. No, you do. Y'all do call people auntie in the comments. But I think this is the auntie me speaking like back in my day type shit. Like, I'm at that age where I'm saying shit like back in my day. But seriously, back in my day, June holidays, December holidays, you wouldn't catch me slipping. Okay, there were 2 significant places where I did my hair during the holidays. I used to go to Soweto to my cousins for the holidays, okay? And up the road, there was this hair salon. And it was owned by this guy, okay? I'd describe him as effeminate and stylish, 2000s stylish. So think white pants, think button-up shirt. They always had a print on them. And I think he always used to wear belts. At least this is the character that's in my mind. If he was real, I guess we'll never know. We'll call him Michael. Michael used to relax my hair. Me and my cousins, we were like the 3 musketeers. So when we got our hair done together, it was a communal experience. So we go up the road to Michael, and one of us would relax while the other 2 are just staring into space, talking to each other, playing whatever. And I remember Michael in particular because even though most of my salon experiences are terrible, I remember his temperament. I remember not his temperament, rather his demeanor or his aura, okay? And it was very soft and it was somewhat kind. And he was one of the only people that I remember ever asking me questions, like if I was relaxing my hair and it was at a critical point where it's do or die, like either my scalp is about to completely peel off or I'm about to have the straightest hair that Soweto's ever seen. He'd ask me if it was okay if it burns too much, and if it was burning way too much, he'd act, which was something that I didn't experience often. Like, seriously, I don't know what it is with adults and not taking children seriously, but he was one of the few hair stylists that I've touched my hair that actually I feel like was attuned to what I was feeling and cared about what I was feeling. Usually if you're not paying, they're not gonna ask you questions. Like, they're gonna ask like, do you like it, in a way that's like you kind of have to say you like it, and there's no room for questioning or just really caring. Because communication, especially in those situations, is half what you say and half how you look, like non-verbal communication. And with a child, it's almost 90% non-verbal, because a child, it's not the freest environment. So, I feel like it's important if you're a hairdresser for children to really attune yourself to their nonverbal communication. But anyways, that's just my 2 cents. That's just my unsolicited advice. He was one of the only people who I didn't dread going to the salon. I felt like it was gonna be okay. It was gonna be painful, but it was gonna be okay. He was kind, he was soft-spoken, and he seemed to care, at least. The second location where I used to do my hair was Mas Pinky. Mas Pinky was this lady from Lesotho who had a back room for her salon business, okay? I think it still exists. I haven't been there in a long time. And she had another lady that used to do hair as well. We'd go there after relaxing our hair, after a few days, usually when the grease had worn off. Okay, let's talk about that before we go to Mas Pinky. Let's talk about the grease. Okay, one thing that Michael could improve upon, along with every hairdresser that I've ever relaxed my hair with, is the amount of grease, guys. Yo! You could drown dreams in the amount of hair food at the back of the palms of these people. Like, I don't understand. Shine bright like a diamond. It was just too much. And after all that, this is the hairstyle that they make you leave with. Anyways, let's talk about Mas Pinky, okay? I equate her to someone studying the masters as a painting major. Like, that's me studying her craft, like studying her rhythm, studying her line work for cornrows, and Snoopy for the KZN natives, okay? She was so good at what she did. She was quick at what she did. She was skilled. She didn't make you sit there for 5 hours. It took 30 minutes to do Mloa Moriri. So when my cousins were doing their hair, I would watch. And that's how I learned how to do hair. I liked my cornrows skinny and neat. And there was another lady that used to braid in the same salon. So whoever came first, first come first serve. And I used to wait, if the other lady was available, my cousin would have to go first. I'm not doing that. That's not what I came here for. I came here for Mas Pinky to do a fishbone plait in my hair. And I came here to watch Mas Pinky do my cousin's hair. And we'd be there for about 3 to 4 hours at a time. And yeah, that's how we spent one of the days in the holidays. And then the next days, you know what we spend them doing? Eating. Yeah, eating. House boots the house down. Happy Pride, by the way. Had to weave that in there somehow. Like how Mas Pinky wove her way into my heart. I miss you, Mas Pinky. My queen. My sensei. Anyways, let us fast forward, okay? I moved KZN to a predominantly white school after all this, and that was the worst thing for my confidence, and that was the worst thing for my hair appreciation. I felt like it just plummeted after that, because all of a sudden my hair was not good enough. I never experienced that before in my life, and I feel like it was very pivotal for me to understand the world in a different way, to gain perspective. But coming from a predominantly black school to going to a predominantly white school, there were 3 of us in the grade. And yeah, it was not cute for me, okay? But fast forward from that point of hating my hair to around 2016, when the strikes happened with this queen right here. that was very pivotal in me actually deciding to go natural. And that was the first year where I decided to be completely natural. I tried before to go natural, and then someone in my class was like, I can't see past Camo's afro. Girl. Then I relaxed my hair after that comment. So, but anyways, after the strikes and like all the conversations that happened after the strike, it changed my life. I'm not gonna lie, it changed my life. It changed my worldview. It changed what was possible. And I feel like without those strikes, without her, like, we wouldn't have, honestly, I don't think my little sister would feel comfortable having dreads. Like, that wasn't normal. It wasn't normal to see people with dreads as beautiful. They were always Rastafari, or like, that was like the association was like, oh yeah, Jamaica, whatever, you know. It wasn't like you could be beautiful and be considered beautiful if you had dreads. You could be considered beautiful if you had natural hair. That wasn't normal, guys. That wasn't normal. I cannot stress to you how weird people were about hair and about black women's appearance and black women's hair. You had to be there, okay? But I can only paint a slight picture that it was very uncomfortable. It was very much like you were second class. It was like there was no education about your hair, and there were no products for your hair. There was nothing to go off. There was nothing to see where you related to it. So you had to conform. Like, that's just what it was. So I'm grateful for that time, and I'm grateful for it allowing me to learn more about my hair and to appreciate hair in a more affirmed way. It's nice to like my hair. I can say that now. I like my hair. I like my afro. I like my natural hair. I like what it can do. And yeah, that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for her. I keep saying her because I forgot her name, but I'm gonna search it and put it up here. As transformative as 2016 was, that was also the last year I stepped into a salon, because I'm going to tell you about the experience that broke the camel's back. Okay, this is the reason I've never looked back. I've never been in a salon since this experience. I'm not even going to tell you the experience. I'm going to show you the haircut. Okay. I'm going to show you the haircut that broke the camel's back. I don't think you need context for this one. Here's the haircut. I know. And this is what I asked for. Since then, my experience with hair has been very personal, because I've done my hair myself since that point on. And you know, I've only really done braids since then, because that's what I like, and I'm a very obsessive person, so to speak. So when I like something, I really like it deeply and forever, and I think it's flawless. And I'm not one to really go out of my comfort zone if I feel like there's no comfort zone outside of that comfort zone. So I will only go for something that I feel like would suit me in my head. So I've dyed my hair different colors. I've dyed it green, pink, blonde, bad blondes, bad pinks, peaches, in between those colors. And yeah, I've experimented a lot, but I think I'm going to experiment more. I feel like I've gotten a bit comfortable with my hair expression, and I think having black hair is kind of forcing me to be creative again, because I don't want to have black hair. I feel like I'm not welcome to the creative society. I feel like that was my card, to be like, guys, I'm creative. And now without it, I feel like I'm having to compensate by actually being creative. I don't know. I really thought that bleaching my hair was enough, but well, here we are. I have black hair, and here's the look. And I don't know, I hope you liked my rambles. If you did like it, like, subscribe and all that. And, you know, tell me your hair journey. I find that fascinating. And I think you're beautiful as you are. Okay?